Do you freeze when you try to speak English? Does your heart beat fast against your ribs? Does your mouth go dry? And does your mind go blank? Listen to me carefully. This is not a vocabulary problem. This is not a grammar problem. This is a machine problem. The machine is your mind, and right now, it is broken. You are trying to run new software on a computer that is overheating, but we can fix it. Today, we are not just learning English. We are going to the gym. We are going to take your brain apart, clean the gears, and put it back together stronger than before. We will build a mind that is calm in the storm. We will build a mind that does not break. Welcome to Luminary English, where stories light the way to better English. You're not just watching a video, you're stepping into a story. Listen closely, feel every word, and let today be the chapter that changes your English forever. Habit 1. The pause button. Let us begin with the most common failure. Imagine this scene. You are standing in front of a native speaker. Maybe it is a boss or a tourist or a teacher. They look at you, they ask a question. Immediately, your brain screams. It is a siren. Red lights flash in your mind. You feel a massive pressure to answer instantly. You think speed equals fluency. You think that if you wait, you look stupid. So, you open your mouth before your brain is ready. You start to speak, but the words are not there. You stumble. You say, ah. You make a simple grammar mistake that you know is wrong. Then, you panic more. The hole gets deeper. This is the speed trap. Biologically, your brain has entered fight or flight mode. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, has hijacked the system. It thinks the native speaker is a lion. It thinks you are in danger. When you are in danger, the part of your brain responsible for language, the prefrontal cortex, shuts down. It goes dark. You cannot access your vocabulary because your brain is too busy trying to survive. You must install a pause button. This is a mechanical fix. It is a physical action. When someone asks you a question, you must do the opposite of what your fear tells you to do. Your fear says, go fast. You must go slow. Here is the protocol. It is called the 3-second rule. When the question ends, you do nothing. You count in your head. 1, 2, 3. During these 3 seconds, you take a breath. You look the person in the eye. You let the silence sit in the air. Most students are terrified of silence. They think silence is awkward. But let me tell you a secret about human psychology. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. When you pause before you speak, you look confident. You look thoughtful. You look like you are in control. The pause does 2 things. First, it calms your amygdala. It tells your brain, we are safe. There is no lion. This brings the blood back to your language center. Second, it gives you time to structure your first sentence. You do not need to plan the whole paragraph. Just plan the first subject and verb. Do not be a machine gun, firing bullets everywhere without aim. Be a sniper. Wait. Aim. Fire. The pause is your weapon. Use it. Habit 2. Separate the action from the person. Now we must talk about the poison that kills your English. That poison is shame. There is a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt says, I made a mistake. Shame says, I am a mistake. Guilt is useful. It tells you to study more. Shame is destructive. It tells you to quit. Imagine you are holding a beautiful glass cup. It is your favorite cup. One day, your hand slips. The cup falls to the floor. It smashes into 1,000 pieces. Now, look at that situation. Are you a broken person because you broke a cup? No. You are a person who dropped an object. The cup is broken, but you are whole. The action was clumsy, but your value as a human being has not changed. But in English, you do not think this way. When you forget a word, or when you use the wrong tense, you do not say, "I made a grammar error." You say, "I am stupid. I am slow. I will never be good enough." You take the broken cup and you stab yourself with the glass. This is a cognitive distortion. You are attaching your identity to your performance. This is dangerous. If your self-worth depends on your English being perfect, you will always be depressed because English is a messy, chaotic language. You will never be perfect. Even native speakers break the cup. You must become a scientist of your own mistakes. A scientist does not cry when the experiment fails. The scientist looks at the data. When you make a mistake, imagine you are looking at it on a piece of paper. Put the mistake on the table. Look at it. Point at it. Say, "That is a verb error. Interesting." Do not swallow the mistake. Do not let it enter your heart. Keep it outside of you. You are the mechanic. The English language is the car. Sometimes the car does not start. That does not mean you are a bad mechanic. It just means you need to check the spark plugs. Separate the action from the person. You are not your English. You are the master of your English. There is a massive difference. Habit 3. The cold shower effect. Why is speaking English so scary? It is scary because it is uncomfortable. It is new. It is unpredictable. Most people live their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They want a soft bed, warm food, and easy conversations. They build a wall around their life called the comfort zone. Inside the wall, everything is safe. Outside the wall, there is chaos. But here is the truth. Growth only happens outside the wall. If you only speak English when you feel safe, you will never get strong. You must train your brain to handle the shock of the cold. I call this the cold shower effect. Imagine a man who takes a hot shower every morning. He is warm. He is happy. But if the hot water stops and the water turns freezing cold, he panics. He screams. He jumps out. He cannot handle the shock. Now imagine a man who turns the water to cold on purpose. Every morning, he stands under the freezing water. He breathes. He controls his shivering. He forces his body to relax in the ice. When this man faces a problem in the real world, he is calm. He has trained his nervous system to handle shock. You must do this with your English. You must hunt for discomfort. Do not wait for a native speaker to talk to you. Go find them. Do not avoid the difficult phone call. Make the call. Do not hide from the complex topic. Try to explain it. Every time you feel that tightness in your chest, that fear, that desire to run away, that is the cold water. That is your signal. Do not run. Step into it. Say to yourself, "This is uncomfortable." Good. I am training. When you voluntarily choose the hard path, the fear disappears. Fear feeds on avoidance. If you run from the dog chases you. If you turn and face the dog stops. Stop running. Turn around. Face the English language. Stand in the cold shower until the water feels warm. Habit 4. The neutral observer. We suffer more in our imagination than in reality. The human brain is a storytelling machine. It takes a small fact and spins a giant story around it. Usually, it is a horror story. Let me give you an example. You are speaking to a colleague in English. You are explaining a project. While you are talking, your colleague looks at his watch. He frowns. He looks out the window. That is the fact. The data is simple. He looked at a watch. He moved his facial muscles. But your brain tells a story. Your brain says, he is bored. My English is terrible. He thinks I am wasting his time. He is going to tell the boss I am incompetent. I am going to lose my job. Suddenly you are sweating. You start to stutter. You lose your confidence. But is the story true? Maybe he looked at his watch because he has a meeting in 5 minutes. Maybe he frowned because he has a headache. Maybe he looked out the window because he saw a bird. You don't know, but you assumed the worst. You labeled the situation bad, and you labeled yourself inadequate. To be mentally strong, you must become the neutral observer. You must kill the drama. You need to strip the emotion away from the event. Look at the raw data. When you feel bad about an interaction, pause. Ask yourself, what actually happened? What did I see? What did I hear? Separate the facts from the fiction. Fact, I forgot the word for inventory. Story, I am an idiot who cannot learn. Kill the story. Keep the fact. The fact is useful. The fact tells you to go home and study the word inventory. The story is useless. It just drains your battery. This is how professional athletes think. If a basketball player misses a shot, he does not think, I am a failure. He thinks, my elbow was too low. He corrects the mechanic. He shoots again. Be the athlete, be the scientist. Look at the data, not the drama. Habit 5. The 5-minute contract. Now we must address the monster of procrastination. You know you need to study. You know you need to practice. But you don't do it. You sit on the sofa. You scroll through social media. You clean the kitchen. You do anything to avoid English. Why? Because you are looking at the mountain. You think, I need to study for an hour. I need to memorize 50 words. I need to write an essay. Your brain looks at that workload and says, no, that is too heavy. That is too painful. I want to conserve energy. So, it gives you the feeling of laziness. Laziness is not a character flaw. Laziness is a defense mechanism against pain. To defeat this, you must lower the pain threshold. You must trick your brain. We will use the 5-minute contract. Do not promise to study for an hour. That is too big. Promise yourself exactly 5 minutes. Tell your brain, I will just listen to one audio clip for 5 minutes. Then I can stop. I can go back to scrolling. I can go back to sleep. Just 5 minutes. Your brain can handle 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not a mountain. It is a small stone. Your brain will say, okay, we can do that. But here is the magic. The hardest part of any heavy lift is the beginning. It is the friction of starting. Once you are in motion, it is easy to stay in motion. Newton's law of physics applies to your mind. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. Once you start that 5-minute timer, you will open your book. You will listen. And when the timer hits 5 minutes, you will likely keep going. You will think, well, I am already here. I might as well do 10 more minutes. And even if you stop after 5 minutes, you have won. You kept the promise. You built the habit of showing up. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are like the weather. They change. Do not rely on the sun to shine. Rely on the contract. Sign the contract for 5 minutes. Do it today. Habit 6. The inner roommate. You are never alone. There is a voice in your head that talks from the moment you wake up until the moment you sleep. For most people, this voice is not a friend. It is a bully. Imagine you had a roommate living in your house. Imagine this roommate followed you everywhere. When you wake up, he says, "You look tired and ugly today." When you try to speak English, he whispers, "That sounded stupid. Your accent is terrible. Everyone is laughing at you." When you try to study, he says, "Why bother? Oh, you will never be fluent." If a real person did this to you, what would you do? Would you let him live in your house? Would you pay his rent? No. You would kick him out. You would call the police. You would scream, "Get out of my life!" But because the voice is inside your head, you let him stay. You listen to him. You believe him. You must realize that you are not the voice. You are the one who hears the voice. This is a deep spiritual and psychological truth. You are the consciousness that observes the thoughts. You are not the thoughts themselves. When the inner roommate starts to insult your English, catch him in the act. Say to yourself, "Ah, there he is. The toxic roommate is talking again." Do not argue with him. Just notice him, and then correct him. You must become your own coach. You must replace the bully with a mentor. When the voice says, "You made a mistake," the mentor voice must answer, "Yes, and I learned from it." When the voice says, "They don't understand you," the mentor voice must answer, "Then I will speak slower until they do." You must curate your internal environment. You would not live in a house full of garbage. Do not live in a mind full of garbage. Evict the bad roommate. Habit 7. The battery guard. Mental strength is not just about thoughts. It is about energy. Think of your willpower, your focus, and your emotional control like a battery on your phone. You wake up with 100%. Every time you get angry at traffic, you lose 5%. Every time you argue with a stranger on the internet, you lose 10%. Every time you worry about politics or the news, you lose 15%. By the time you sit down to speak English or study, your battery is at 20%. You are in low power mode. When you are in low power mode, your brain cannot learn. Learning a language requires massive cognitive energy. It requires complex neural connections. If you are exhausted from emotional drama, you will fail. You will have no patience. You will give up easily. You must become a guard at the gate of your mind. You must protect your battery with your life. This means you must become ruthless about what you care about. Is it worth getting angry at the rude waiter? No, it costs too much battery. Let it go. Is it worth worrying about what your distant cousin thinks of your career? No, it is too expensive. Let it go. Save your energy for the things that matter. Save it for your family. Save it for your health. And save it for your English. Your energy is money. You have a limited budget every day. Do not throw your money into the trash. Spend it on building your future. If you want to speak English with power, you must arrive at the conversation with a full battery. Stop leaking energy on things that do not serve you. Habit 8. Posture is power. We often think that the mind controls the body, but the reverse is also true. The body controls the mind. This is called embodied cognition. Your brain looks at your body to decide how to feel. If you sit in a chair, shoulders hunched forward, head down, arms crossed, breathing shallowly, what is the message you are sending to your brain? You are telling your brain, we are small. We are protecting our vital organs. We are in danger. We are weak. Your brain receives this signal and releases cortisol, the stress hormone. You feel anxious. You feel afraid to speak. Now stand up. Pull your shoulders back. Expose your chest. Lift your chin. Look straight ahead. Take a deep breath that fills your stomach. What is the message now? You are telling your brain, I am big. I am open. I am not afraid. I am ready. Your brain receives this signal and releases testosterone. It lowers the cortisol. You actually feel more confident. Before you enter a job interview, before you start a Zoom call in English, before you walk into a class, check your body. Are you collapsing or are you expanding? Adopt the Superman pose. Stand wide, hands on hips, chest out. Hold this for 2 minutes. It feels silly, but it works. It is biology. You cannot speak powerful English from a weak body. The voice is a physical instrument. It needs air. It needs space. If you are physically small, your voice will be small. If you are physically expansive, your voice will carry weight. Change your posture, and you will change your performance. Habit 9. The focus laser. We live in the age of distraction. We are addicted to stimulation. I see students trying to study English while they are watching TV. I see them listening to a podcast while they are scrolling through Instagram. I see them trying to write an essay while texting their friends. They think they are multitasking. They think they are being productive. They are lying to themselves. The human brain cannot multitask. It can only task switch. It switches from the English book to the phone and back to the book. Every time you switch, there is a cognitive cost. You lose focus. You lose depth. You lose the flow. Imagine a light bulb. It spreads light everywhere. It lights up the room, but the light is soft. You can touch it. It has no power to penetrate. Now imagine a laser. A laser is the same light, but it is focused on a single point. It is so concentrated that it can cut through steel. You need to be the laser. When you study English, or when you are speaking English, you must do only that. Turn off the phone. Put it in another room. Close the other tabs on your browser. Turn off the music if it has lyrics. Give the language your absolute undivided attention. 20 minutes of deep, laser-focused study is worth 3 hours of distracted, half-hearted study. When you speak to someone, look at them. Listen to every sound. Watch their mouth. Do not think about your grocery list. Be fully present. This intensity burns the English into your brain. It creates deep neural pathways that last. Stop trying to do everything at once. Do one thing. Do it with fire. Do it with the laser. Habit 10. Embrace the plateau. This habit is for when the darkness comes, and it will come. In the beginning of your English journey, progress is fast. You learn, hello, thank you, apple. Every day you know more. It is exciting. But then you hit the intermediate level, and suddenly everything stops. You study for weeks, but you feel like you are not improving. You still make the same mistakes. You still struggle to understand movies. You feel stuck. This is called the plateau. Most people quit here. They think, I am not talented. This isn't working. They are wrong. Let me tell you the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. When you plant the seed of this bamboo, you must water it and fertilize it every day. For the first year, you see nothing, no growth. The second year, you water it. Still nothing. The third year, nothing. The fourth year, nothing. Most people would stop watering. They would think the seed is dead. But in the fifth year, something miraculous happens. Within 6 weeks, the bamboo tree grows 90 feet tall. Did it grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? No. It grew 90 feet in 5 years. For 4 years, the growth was underground. It was developing a massive root system. It was building the foundation to support the height. If it had grown tall without the roots, it would have fallen over. The plateau is your root-building phase. When you feel like you are not learning, you are learning. Your brain is consolidating data. It is myelinating the nerves. It is connecting the dots deep in your subconscious. You cannot see the leaves yet, but the roots are digging deep. Do not curse the plateau. Embrace it. Trust it. It is necessary. If you keep watering, if you keep studying, the growth will explode. It is inevitable. Do not stop watering just because you cannot see the green. Habit 11. The social filter. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you hang out with 5 people who are unfit, you will likely be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 people who are millionaires, you will likely be the 6th. And if you hang out with people who are negative, cynical, and afraid of English, you will never be fluent. There is a concept called crab mentality. Starakir. If you put a single crab in a bucket, it can climb out. But if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, when one tries to climb out, the others grab his legs and pull him back down. They do not want him to escape. You may have friends like this. When you try to practice your English, they laugh. They say, "Oh, look at you trying to be fancy. Why do you care so much? Your accent is funny." They are pulling you down. They are afraid that if you succeed, their own failure will look bigger. You must apply a strict social filter. You need to surround yourself with people who are running the same race as you. You need people who say, "Wow, good job. Keep going." Let's practice together. If you cannot find these people in real life, find them online. Listen to this channel. Join communities of learners. Protect your environment. If you are an eagle, do not try to fly with pigeons. The pigeons will just complain that you are going too high. Cut the rope. Leave the bucket. Habit 12. Fact over feeling. We spoke about the neutral observer. Now we must go deeper. We must learn to override our feelings with logic. There will be days when you feel stupid. There will be days when you feel like you have forgotten everything. Feelings are powerful, but they are often liars. I feel like I am not making progress as a feeling. It is not a fact. You need an external record of truth. You need evidence. I want you to keep an evidence list. Every week, write down 3 things you learned. Maybe it is a new idiom. Maybe you understood a song lyric. Maybe you had a conversation for 2 minutes. Write it down. Put it on paper with ink. When the dark days come and you feel like a failure, open the book. Read the list. The list says, Week 1, learn 10 phrasal verbs. Week 2, spoke to a tourist. Week 3, watched a movie without subtitles. The list proves your feelings wrong. The list is the data. You cannot argue with data. When your emotions try to hijack the car, you pull out the map. You say, "Look, we were here yesterday. We are here today. We have moved forward." Do not trust your mood. Your mood depends on how much you slept, what you ate, and the weather. Trust the record. Trust the work you have done. Habit 13. The growth mindset, yet. There is a single word that can change the chemistry of your brain. It is a tiny word, 3 letters, Y-E-T, yet. This comes from the research of Dr. Carol Dweck. She talks about the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, "I am not good at English." It is a permanent statement. It is a concrete wall. It means your ability is fixed and you cannot change it. A growth mindset adds the word yet. I am not good at English yet. Suddenly the wall becomes a door. It becomes a path. It implies that with time and effort, the situation will change. I don't understand native speakers yet. I can't pronounce the TH sound yet. I don't have a large vocabulary yet. This word signals to your brain that you are in a process. You are under construction. When you say, "I can't," you stop trying. Your brain shuts down. When you say, "not yet," your brain starts looking for the solution. It asks, "Okay, what do we need to do to get there?" Monitor your language. Catch yourself when you make absolute statements about your inability. Add the word, open the door. Habit 14. Celebrate the struggle. We are programmed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. But in learning, pain is the indicator of growth. Think about a weightlifter. He goes to the gym. He puts heavy iron plates on the bar. He lifts it. It is heavy. His muscles burn. He sweats. He makes a grimacing face. Is he suffering? Yes. Is he unhappy? No. He loves it. He loves it because he knows that the burning sensation is the feeling of the muscle fibers breaking down so they can rebuild stronger. If the weight was light, he would be bored. He wants the heavy weight. You must develop this relationship with English. When you are reading a text and you see a word you do not know, do not get frustrated. Do not say, "Oh no, another word I don't know." Smile. Say, "Ah, there is the heavy weight. There is the gold." If you understood everything, you would not be learning. The confusion is the sensation of learning. The struggle to find the right word is the sensation of the brain building a new road. Dopamine is the chemical of motivation. Usually we get dopamine when we succeed. I want you to hack your brain. I want you to get dopamine when you struggle. Celebrate the difficulty. This grammar is hard? Good. That means mastering it will make me elite. This pronunciation is difficult. Good. That means my mouth is learning a new shape. Fall in love with the burn. That is where the fluency lives. Habit 15. Consistency is the king. We have arrived at the final habit. This is the one that binds them all together. We live in a world of hacks and shortcuts. People want fluent in 3 months. They want the magic pill. There is no magic pill. There is only the compound effect. Imagine 2 people. Person A studies for 5 hours on Sunday. Then he does nothing for 6 days because he is tired. Person B studies for 20 minutes every day, no matter what. At the end of the week, Person A has studied more hours, but Person B will win. Why? Because the brain learns through repetition and sleep. You need to expose the brain to the language, then sleep to consolidate it, then expose it again, then sleep again. Person B has 7 cycles of learning and sleeping. Person A has only 1. Also, Person B is building a habit. Person A is relying on willpower. Willpower runs out. Habits last forever. Think of the story of the tortoise and the hare. The rabbit runs fast, then stops. The turtle walks slow, but never stops. The turtle wins every single time. You do not need to be brilliant. You do not need to be a genius. You just need to be the turtle. Do not stop walking. Even if it is just 5 minutes. Even if it is just 1 word a day. Consistency cuts through rock. Not because it is powerful, but because it is persistent. Be the river. The river never stops, and eventually, the river reaches the ocean. Reflection. I want to speak to you now, not as a teacher, but as a brother. I know how heavy this feels. I know the shame of opening your mouth and feeling like a child, because you cannot express the complex thoughts in your adult mind. I know the frustration of hearing a joke and not understanding why everyone is laughing. I have been there. Every polyglot, every master, every teacher has been there. We all started with 0 words. We all started with fear. I remember staring at a phone, terrified to make a call in a foreign language. I remember the heat in my face when I said the wrong word and insulted someone by accident. But I also remember the day the fog lifted. I remember the first time I made a joke in a new language and people laughed. Not at me, but with me. I remember the feeling of freedom. That freedom is waiting for you. You are not broken. You are just training. You are building the muscle. The journey from fear to fluency is not a straight line. It is a mountain path. There are rocks. There are storms. There are days when you slide back. But if you keep these habits, if you pause, if you breathe, if you protect your energy, if you treat yourself with kindness, you will climb it. You have everything you need inside you right now. You do not need a new brain. You just need to drive the one you have with more wisdom. Outro. The mind is a muscle. You must train it. We have covered 15 habits today. Do not try to do all of them tomorrow. That is a trap. Pick one. Just one. Maybe it is the pause button. Maybe it is the 5-minute contract. Master that one habit this week. Then add another. Do not just watch this video and nod your head. Information without action is poison. Go do it. This is Luminary English. If this story lit a fire in you, like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Tell me in the comments, which habit will you start today? You are not weak. You are just waking up. You are the captain of your soul. Class dismissed.